Well, I wasn't ready.
you weren't ready.
Wasn't ready yet.
Hang in there.
Yeah, you gotta wait for those cues.
Hello, I'm John Westbrooks, Director of Engineering for USECO Products. I'm going to demonstrate the computerized control panel for the USECO blast chiller. First, we're going to review the layout and function of the control panel. We will begin at the top of the control panel where we have the time temperature curve. The time temperature curve is to be used as a quick glance reference for the blast chill cycle. The diagonal LED bar graph represents the temperature and the horizontal LED bar graph represents the time. Next, we have the chilling mode switches. You may select either a time control mode or probe control mode. The timer control is used for time control chilling. The probe control is used for temperature control chilling. Beside the timer and probe control switch, we have the master power switch. Next, we have the LED function indicator lights. The load-unload indicator LED indicates that the rack can be loaded or unloaded. The chill indicator LED indicates that a chill cycle is in progress. The hold indicator LED indicates that the chiller is in a refrigerated hold cycle. The chill cycle operates between 0 and minus 10 degrees Fahrenheit, while the hold cycle operates between 34 and 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Below the indicator LEDs is the display. The display shows time of day, chill countdown time, cabinet air temperature, food probe temperature, diagnostic functions during diagnostic test, and PM indicator in the upper left-hand corner. The display function will show you what is being displayed in the display screen. The letter C represents the chill countdown time. The letter A represents cabinet air temperature. The numbers 1 through 8 represent food probe temperature. And the numbers 1 through 4 during diagnostic tests represents the diagnostic function listed under the diagnostic menu. The reset function keys are used during the programming mode. The top two keys have dual functions. Starting in the upper left-hand corner, we have the left arrow key, which also serves as an enter key. Then we have the right arrow key, which also serves as the next key, which is used during the time of day programming mode to change from minutes to hours. Then we have the down arrow and the up arrow keys. The up and down arrow keys are used to increase or decrease the time and temperature set points during the programming mode. Also, the left arrow or enter key and the right arrow or next keys are used as function switches during the programming mode. Please refer to the Owner Operator's Manual for detailed explanation of the programming mode. The operation mode section of this panel has 4 switches. First, we have the start-stop switch. This switch is used to start or stop the chill cycle. This selection will either activate the timer control mode or the probe control mode. The rotation switch turns the rack rotation on or off. During normal blast chilling operation, the switch should be in the on position. This feature is only available for the 34 series Rotochill blast chillers and not available for the 32 and 33 series blast chillers. The diagnostic key is used to perform the diagnostic test. Item 1 represents a test for the refrigeration solenoid. Item 2 represents the power-up of the electronic control panel. Item 3 represents the air temperature probe. And item 4 represents the food temperature probes. The diagnostic menu below this switch lists the items being tested. While the test is running, the display function screen shows the numbers 1 through 4 corresponding to the test being performed. Pass will indicate the items are working correctly. Fail will indicate the diagnostic test has indicated a problem. When a problem is present for items 1 through 3, please contact a licensed electrician or an authorized service agency for inspection. For test 4, the food probe test, pass or fail will also indicate the presence or absence of the food probe. Although rarely needed, should a manual defrost cycle be necessary, the manual defrost cycle switch will activate a convected air defrost cycle. The doors to the cabinet should be open during the defrost cycle. Also, this should be done when a chill cycle is not in progress and food is not in the cabinet. The display will show DEFR during the manual defrost cycle. The manual defrost cycle must be manually stopped by pressing the manual defrost switch again. The control panel is programmed before shipping from the factory. If you wish to change any of the factory settings, use the program mode to do so. The program mode section of the control panel has 4 keys. The runtime key is used to change the maximum length of time for the chill cycle. The runtime setting is set for timer controlled and probe controlled modes. Use the up or down arrow key to change the runtime setting. Then press the enter key to confirm the setting. The chill temperature key is used to change the chill temperature set point. Use the up or down arrow key to change the temperature setting, then press the enter key to confirm the setting. The probe scroll key is used to activate the temperature display of the food probes in the timer control mode. This feature is only for the timer control mode. The temperature display is on as default in the probe control mode. The hold temperature key is used to change the hold cycle temperature set point. Use the up or down arrow key to change the temperature setting, then press the enter key to confirm the setting. The warning indicator section has 2 visual indicators. The temperature warning indicator indicates the temperature during the hold cycle is out of range. The door warning indicator indicates the door is open. The data acquisition section is used to store temperature readings into memory. This information can be sent to a serial printer for a hard copy printout. The serial printer is connected to a 9-pin connector located at the top of the control panel. The time date key is used to set the time of day and date. Press the time date key and the time of day will appear in the display. The hours will flash and can be changed by pressing the up or down arrow key. Press the next key to change to minutes. The minutes will be flashing. Change the minutes by pressing the up or down arrow key. Press the enter key to confirm the time of day setting. Next, the month will appear in the display. The 2 left-hand digits will display M, while the right-hand digits display the numerical month code. Press the up or down arrow key to change the month code, then press the enter key to confirm the setting. Next, the day of the month will appear in the display. The 2 left-hand digits will display DY for day, while the right-hand digits display the numerical day code. Press the up or down arrow key to change the day code, then press the enter key to confirm the settings. Next, the year will appear in the display. The 2 left-hand digits will display YR for year, and the 2-digit numerical year code will be displayed in the 2 right-hand digits. Press the up or down arrow key to change the year code. Then press the enter key to confirm the setting. The clear log key erases the stored temperature readings from memory. The interval key is used to set the time interval for logging and printing of air and food probe temperatures. The time interval can be changed by pressing the up or down arrow key, then press the enter key to confirm the setting. The printer mode section of the control panel has 5 keys. The continuous key instructs the control panel to print out temperature readings based upon the continuous scrolling of the air and food probes. The interval key instructs the control panel to print out temperature readings based upon the preset time interval. The demand key instructs the control panel to print out one set of readings for the air and food probes and then halt. The log key instructs the control panel to print out the temperature history stored in memory. The amount of data stored in memory depends upon the interval setting. Examples are as follows. An interval setting of 1 minute equals approximately 2 hours of temperature history. An interval setting of 5 minutes equals approximately 10 hours of temperature history. An interval setting of 10 minutes equals approximately 20 hours of temperature history. An interval setting of 15 minutes equals approximately 30 hours of temperature history. An interval setting of 20 minutes equals approximately 40 hours of temperature history. The baud rate key is used to set the baud rate for the printer. The baud rate must be set before attempting to print to the printer. Use the up or down arrow key to change the baud rate. Press Enter key to confirm the setting. Then the hardware handshaking selection will be displayed either off or on. Use the up or down arrow key to change the setting. Then press the Enter key to confirm the setting. Selecting on will permit the serial printer's ready to send signal to control the transmission of data and thereby prevent printer buffer overflow. Printing of the stored temperature data should be done directly to a serial printer through a 9-pin RS-232 serial cable. The printer must be compatible with either 1200, 2400, 4800, or 9600 baud rates. The following set points are adjustable within the ranges listed. For advanced users of the control panel, there are 5 additional hidden parameters that can be accessed and changed from the front panel using a combination of keystrokes. These are as follows: probe control set point, door alarm delay, temperature alarm set point for the hold cycle, temperature alarm delay, and automatic defrost time. Refer to the owner-operator's manuals for details. The following information is printed on the temperature chart: the date, time, probe temperatures 1 through 8, air probe temperature, diagnostic codes for door switch, proximity switch 1 and 2, compressor solenoid, compressor on-off status, rack rotation motors 1 and 2, and fan on-off status. The pans that should be used for blast chilling should be stainless steel or aluminum permanent wear. They should be 12 by 20 by 2.5 inches deep, or fractional size pans can be used with wire shelves. Also, 18 by 26 bud pans can be used. Lids or covers of any kind are not used during blast chilling. Food products should be filled to the depth of 2 inches in the 12 by 20 and fractional size pans. Cover foods after blast chilling. Label food pans. Include the type of food and date of production on the label. Place the pans of food on the rack before moving the rack into the chiller. There is no requirement for specific placement or location of foods on the rotochill rack. All locations are equally exposed to the flow of supercooled air within the blast chiller. Open the door and unlatch the rack latch mechanism. Roll the rack into the chiller and install the rack. Lock the latch mechanism. Remove probes from probe holder. Place each probe in a separate pan so that the probes are equally spaced on the rack. Close the cabinet door. Turn the master switch on in the up position. A diagnostic cycle will be automatically activated at startup. After the diagnostic cycle is complete, select either timer or probe controlled mode. Press the start-stop button to start the chill cycle. The blast chiller will start to operate and will go into an automatic 10-minute defrost cycle. DEFR will be displayed and the cabinet will be refrigerated to the 34 to 40 degree Fahrenheit hold temperature. At the end of the 10-minute automatic defrost cycle, the pre-programmed run time will be displayed and the blast chill cycle will begin. At the end of the chill cycle, the alarm will sound, the hold lamp will be lit. Wait for the load-unload lamp to light. Then the master switch can be turned off, the down position. Open the door, remove the food probes, open the rack latch mechanism, and remove the rack from the blast chiller. The chill cycle is complete. Covers should be placed on the panned food after blast chilling. The rack of food should be placed into refrigerated storage, and the food probes should be cleaned. Please read and understand the warning labels and operation manual before attempting to operate the blast chiller. Should you require additional information or additional copies of the operation manual, please contact USECO's Customer Service Department at 1-800-251-3398.
Okay, and always go back. You know that on leather restraints, we have to do those every 15 minutes anyway. Your patient assessment should continue on and on. With locked leathers in particular, you're going to have to talk to your nurse manager and find out where we need to place the key. The nurse caring for that patient should not have that key on their person. If there's an emergency, we need to be able to get to that key immediately. So you may find you want to put it in a little plastic bag, tape it on a locker or on the door. I wouldn't suggest the head of the bed, because if they do manage to get one arm loose, they're out of those things. They know how to use them better than we do. So find out where you're going to put those things whenever you have patient in locked leathers, so that everybody can go grab the key and get them out if there's an emergency like a fire or whatever. With limb restraints, all of our limb restraints are padded now, and one of the things we need to do is they're both Velcroed and they have a male-female loop on them. And with the Velcro, you simply do the initial tightening to put the pad with it, then you use the little Velcro joint or the loop joint to tighten it. And again, with those, you do want to be able to get one finger underneath to make sure that they're loose enough to not impede circulation. With posy vests, the idea behind these is make sure that you get the correct size. And we have charts showing what color is what size on all the floors. They should still be there. When you do get your posy vest, make sure to read the instructions. We may change companies, and the instructions given by the manufacturer are the best way to go. If you look at this particular one says to the front. So this has to be put on with this label to the front. So if you try to put it on backwards, see what's going to happen? It goes to the back. Then what you've done is you've created a good place to crush their trachea with. So always put them on the way they're supposed to be put on, with that toward the back. The only place you loop through these, it's got to be on one side or the other, is where there is a slit in the material to do it. And what we found is that people are doing this and then looping them back through. That's a no-no. One loop through, and then you're ready to tie, okay? These should be tied at waist level to the bed frame. Make sure the part of the bed moves. And again with slip knots, so we can get them out of it. Particularly with posy vests, they posed a real hazard because people get strangled with them very easily, and COPDers end up not breathing. Their breathing's already impeded. If you get these too tight, they'll just quit breathing on you. So always make sure that they've got enough room, that their breathing's not impaired and circulation is not impaired. Get fingers under those loops. And you tighten them up, not around the patient, but to the bed, because these aren't to hold the patient tight in the bed. They need to be able to move and readjust position. They're just to remind them not to get out of bed, okay? If you have to use these with shoulder straps, we do have the ones that have the loops up here, then you're going to affix them to the top of the bed, not off to the sides here. There are loops that go all the way to the top of the bed, and all of your beds have the little coiled springs under them. Loop them between there, okay, at the top or the bottom. These are also fire hazards. They're fire retardant, but they're not fireproof. So you need to make sure that you take away, with any of these restraints, any objects that may pose a safety hazard, like cigarettes or matches. These will shoot up very, very quickly, and there have been a lot of burned patients from that. And since our veterans get out and do that, that is one of our problems. Whenever you're going to deal with restraints, you need to remember to pull in enough people to do the job. If the patient's rowdy enough to need locked leathers, get enough people to handle the situation, preferably 5. That way you have one person on each limb and somebody to actually hook up the restraints. When you're restraining a patient, we all have a habit of reaching for that patient, even with soft restraints, and grabbing them at an elbow to get that arm down. We're causing joint problems in these older people, or even fractures. So use long bones when you have to hold them. Okay, go for the upper or the middle part of the arm or legs, not over the joints themselves, to stop some of this injury problem we're having, okay? And the last thing I need to tell you is that whenever we're using the beds with split rails like these, you always need to make sure that you get the padded side rails, the seizure pads, to go over these, because they can get their heads through this and through here, and they can hang themselves, break bones, and create all sorts of problems. So it is now illegal to use split rails unless you have the pad over it. Or the other alternative, which is really not that great, is to leave the bottom rail down. But if you're doing that, you're probably defeating your purpose to begin with. So, patient judgment here, nurse judgment on which patients will need it, but we do have pads available, so make use of them, okay?
That was good.
I think I talked them through everything that we talked about earlier.